This is a quick movie just to take you through the basic concepts of QCapture Pro 7. So let's start off by just opening up the software. And one thing you'll find is actually that if we're normally trying to use this program, it will look for updates on startup. In this case, my computer's not connected to the internet, so I'm just going to say, don't look for updates on startup, and then just press cancel. And we're just ready to continue. And we'll load up the software. And the software's going to load with this feel at the moment. What we have here is the QCapture Pro open screen, which will show me the last images that were open. I can actually have new links here with open and help, and I have the video tutorials such as this. And also I have the website made in here as well. But actually what we're going to do is just start by going live. And that's going to open up a camera driver dialog, and I have a nice image open at the moment. Tell you what, I'm going to just go shut down that open screen. Very first thing I'm going to do is just grab an image. Okay, that's nice. I still have my live image here, and you'll instantly see the snapped image move to the right. Tell you what I'm going to do, I'm just going to try and move to a different filter set. And I'm going to just snap that as well, capture. Okay, and actually, that's pretty good for now. I have the two images, so I'm going to turn off the live. But you see I have this set up here. Some people may like this. I mean, that may be useful, but I'm a pretty big fan of having everything on top of each other. So I can actually just grab this dialog and maybe just put it all on top. And now I can just see that I can actually grab tabs and align as I need to. So there are my images. In fact, I'm going to want to have them all on top of each other. I'll have the live up front. There we go. It's pretty straightforward. You can also see I can navigate on the left-hand side. I have an image strip where I can move between any of the images I need to at all. If ever I got confused, I could always go to the View tab, and maybe I say I want to have them next to each other by going Align View 3, or on top of each other, or, just one. Pretty happy with that. Okay, well, let's just stay off here. Now, one of the other things, we'll just return to Capture first of all. I have camera settings controls here, and I also have them here. One thing you'll also notice is that we have these little additional sort of docking sections here, and if I just hit this pin, I can auto hide that. Gives me a bit more space. Come back, just click on it, and it's back up. But I'll just pin that back into space for now. We'll look at this section later on, and there'll be a later movie to come about calibration. But one thing to be aware of is that we have the options to put an auto marker bar on, which will put a bar in here of a certain length as we can define it. In fact, if we go to the options, now I have an options tab in here, and I can define the marker bar options. Maybe I want it to always be in the top right, or always be in the top left, or wherever I want it to be. Maybe I don't want any text, so I just get rid of the text, and I want it to be really thick. You can do as you need it to be. So that marker is now 30% of the field of view. So that's pretty nice. And I can also drag it. If I put numbers on it, you can say, oh, look, it was that big. Personally, I kind of don't use that myself, so I'm going to just come and basically turn that off. And now I'm going to turn that off also by removing it here, so I don't have it on. And you can see at the moment it's orange. That's a very useful point. That means that that function is in use. If we click again, I can turn that function out of use. Okay, to look at some other functions here as well, I can come quickly and just look at an image histogram. And again, that pops up at the bottom here, and we can see a histogram. If we move to the live image, maybe if I move it around a bit, you can see that's actually changing as we go along. That's quite nice, or I can, again, just like an image, I can pick that up and I can click it where I want it to go. Maybe not so big, but hey, I'm actually preferring to use it down at the bottom at the moment. That's quite nice. I can see everything in place there. I also have line profiles, and I can pick up and drag, and you can see I get a line profile on here, just particularly on my live image, and I can just click on it and change the length of it, and maybe I just look across, and here I can even see the intensities and scale them as I want. Also worth noting, it actually opens up its own tab along the top when we open up the line profile. But, it's kind of a useful tool for setting up and using. Another thing as well is a saturation warning. I can again click that on. If that's on, that's in use. Not saturating at the moment. But it's worth noting a lot of these tools are actually split. And if you see there's a little arrow at the bottom, you can see that basically saturation is anything above 4095. Well, maybe I don't want to use that. I'm working much lower. I'm going to say saturation is anything above 100. And now you can see saturation in place. Okay, that's fine. And in fact, I'm just going to turn that off. Some other quite nice quick ones. Obviously it's Windows, so we can go File, Save As if we want to. But if I wanted to, just save quickly as a JPEG or a TIFF, Save As Analysis. What does Save As Analysis do? That's going to save it as a predefined setting to a filed location. Again, I can set this up, split options, and you can say Save for Analysis is always going to be a TIFF, and I want it to be called image each time, or you can change it to a name and give it a location to save to. Publication, well, do you know what? Every time I save something, I don't necessarily want to have to convert it. Maybe I just tint this red for an example. Maybe I don't want to convert it to a 24-bit color image. I just want to save it. I want to put my overlays and my marker. Publication. Ping. I get a 24-bit color image instantly created, which is really nice and neat. So we have that in there as well. Let's just get rid of that. And I'll just remove the tint as well for the moment. Okay, that's all pretty straightforward. Let's have a look through the Adjust tab. Here we have the ability to do things like rotate, resizes, merge images together, the composite tool, which we can look at later on. I have pseudo coloring again. Turn it on. Well, not much going on there because the range is too big. So again, I'm going to make the range maybe 200 and I can do that. Maybe I tidy up the bottom and say it starts at 10, get it under. Yeah, looks a bit nicer and neater. Again, orange, turn it off, it's clear. I can also control brightness and contrast settings in here as well. I can run a series of filters if I want to as well and do background corrections. Next up on the select, I've got copy and paste tools. They're pretty straightforward. We can use them as we want. Measure, well, we're pretty limited here, but we have some tools I think which are quite nice. I can just simply and easily draw lines. And this is actually creating a data table here where I can actually export these measurements. And these measurements will be based on my calibration. I can also, if I want, just tag there's one, there's one, there's one, there's one, there's one, so on. And we can change the colors and call the classes different things and change all the options and settings for that as well. But I'm just going to get rid of that for the moment as well. View is a particularly nice function as well. We've seen here we can have the image strip on and off. We can also do things like aligning the views as we've done before and closing tools. A really good tool to have and use is the reset tools. Reset tools puts us back into our normal stage with image strip here and the camera control driver here as well. That's a very nice, easy use tool that we should get used to using. Another thing that I'll do is I'll just zoom into the image. That's kind of nice. At any stage I want to, whatever is in this workspace here, defined as being between these two, image strip and actually the camera controls, I can just say full screen. Okay, so that's nice there. I can instantly do that. So again, I can go full screen and just look at my live, and I can zoom and pan in and out of my live image as I need to. It's a little bit bleached now. And then just F11 or close full screen. Again, that's pretty easy to work with once we get up and running. Next things, well, we've got the ability to do some nice cloning, so copying images. Zooming's quite nice as well. We can pan around from here. A really nice function is actually to get a couple of images and actually just get maybe this image, and we'll kind of just control click both of those, or maybe we just get them open. Let's get rid of the live for a minute. And we have these two images here. Again, we'll go to image, and now we'll just lock those images together, which means, let's have them side by side. Now we can zoom into them at the same time and pan around, which is pretty nice, particularly if we're doing some of the fluorescence tinting and so on. So that's quite a nice tool. Another thing we'll do, we'll just pop up the live image. And again, I'll probably stick this image underneath and go straight to the live. Again, I am kind of move to another little area. Focus it so it's all nice for everyone looking at it. One nice tool I really like is local zoom. Local zoom is particularly nice in something like a patch clamping or any form of manipulation, where I want to observe the whole field of view and the zoom section. So if I click on this, you can see I now have a little window here with a repeater. And actually what I'm going to do is just make this about twice as wide. So now I've got my full field of view and my ability to monitor where my cursor is at a high and low zoom factor, which is really nice as well. Other things that we might want to do as well is, well, maybe if I'm really interested in the local zoom function, I can right click on it and add it to my quick access toolbar, and you can see it now appears here. So a lot of the tools like capture, maybe I just go add to quick access toolbar, I get a capture button, auto exposure, add to quick access toolbar, and I can start to go through and do all this level of customization. Okay, I hope that's alright for everyone that's watching this. If you need any more help, please contact your local sales office or dealer. Thanks.